Well, good afternoon to you. Great thanks for joining us. This is Channel 1 Lunchtime News, a sign language interpreter this afternoon. As Wilson Mushwara, once more the country has been thrown into mourning after the death of a sitting member of parliament, Grace Kipchoim, the member of parliament for Baringo South. We have the details lined up for you. She's been mourned as a peace crusader, particularly in a county that has not experienced so much of relative peace. We'll be talking about that a little bit later, but for now, welcome to the bulletin. My name is John Jacob Curia. The Senate Justice and Legal Affairs Committee has called off a meeting with embattled IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati. The cancellation came as Chebukati and two other commissioners were on their way to Parliament to address issues pertaining to present state of affairs at the Electoral Agency. Pressures, however, mounting on the IEBC Chairperson to step down in order to pave way for the restructuring of the Commission.
Together with Commissioners Ayub Gulie and Boya Molu, were scheduled to appear before Justice and Legal Affairs Committee of the Senate Friday morning. But it appears there was a last-minute change from the Senate. Even though the three under-fire officials of the Electoral Agency had confirmed their availability, the committee called off the said meeting, giving no reason for the sudden change of mind. IEBC confirmed the cancellation through Twitter, saying we were on our way to honor an invitation by a Senate Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights for a meeting this morning when they called to call it off. The events this morning notwithstanding, a section of leaders are pushing for the removal of Chebukati, Gulie and Molu from office without delay.
It is the high time we take action early enough. They must now heed to the public outcry and demand that it is the high time they quit, so that we can have a commission that will be respected by all of us.
Led by Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mwangi Kiunjuri, the leaders argue that the remaining commissioners lack the moral authority to conduct the affairs of the commission with diligence.
There was confusion throughout the year, and all of us witnessed what happened on the 8th of August and also on the 26th of October during the repeat election. And there is no way as leaders we can sit down again and witness the same confusion when it comes now to the issue of delimitation of boundaries.
His sentiment received support from Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga and Madira MP Rigathi Gachagua.
Team of Chebukati, from the look of things, is clueless, and I think Chebukati should just give in, hand in his resignation, and allow Kenyans and Parliament to disband the IBC and constitute afresh in readiness for the boundaries review and for the 2022 general elections.
People who have been given responsibilities undertake the responsibilities with due diligence and as expected of them. We have no time for fights, we have no time for push and pull, and for us as a county, we want to demand that if indeed the chairman of IBC and his team cannot work together, I think there are mechanisms for sending them home, and a new team is formed so that Kenya can move on.
Eric Biegon reporting for Channel 1 News.
And now the effects of the ongoing rains continue to be felt across the country, with hundreds displaced by the raging floods. Turkana, Tana River, Samburu and Migori counties, or rather the 4 counties, have suffered the brunt of the floods, even as emergency response teams intensified relief efforts.
Effects of the raging floods continue to be felt in parts of the country, with more than 1,000 people living in over 5 villages in Lodwar displaced after River Kawalase burst its banks last night following a heavy downpour. Houses and shops remain submerged in Soweto, California, Nampetet, Nabute, Loitakito, forcing people to seek refuge in churches and the nearby medical training college. Mama Margaret Nawoi, who operates a mini supermarket and bakery in Nabute Field, is among the victims of the floods. The affected families calling on the county and national governments to provide them with relief supplies and amid fears of an outbreak of waterborne diseases.
Kila kitu sukari, gangano, mahindi, maragwe, chumvi, kila kitu imeenda. Hata sasa watoto yangu sijui mahali hapo. Mimi ndio huyu tu nabeba viatu na mkono. Vitu yote, vitu ya mattress, kitanda, nini, masufuria imeenda na maji. Sasa sina chochote.
Kwa masaa kidogo hivi nasikia majirani yakipiga kelele. Sema tutoe vitu. Sasa sikutoka nje. Tukapata yetu, sasa ndio najiandaa kuja. Nikakimbia mpaka pande ile. Soweto pande ile. Nikakuta maji imeenda mpaka kwa kanisa.
In Migori County, over 200 families were left homeless after they were displaced by floods in Nyatike following a heavy downpour. The obtaining situation has rendered most roads in the area inaccessible, with food and other basic necessities hard to access. The situation is so dire that affected families have been forced to seek assistance from friends and relatives. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Kaltun Jama.
Kajiado Governor Joseph Ole Lenku is warning that his administration will not sit back and watch education standards deteriorate in the county. Ole Lenku said the government is pumping a lot of resources to boost education in the country, and the children of Kajiado should not be given a raw deal by teachers who are supposed to be their mentors. Ole Lenku was speaking after rewarding pupils who performed well during the 2017 national examinations.
Kajiado Governor Joseph Ole Lenku wants teachers in the county to pull up their socks and ensure students perform better in their national examinations. Speaking while rewarding best performers in the 2017 national examination in the county, the governor said billions of shillings is being pumped into the education sector by the Kenyan government, and it was disappointing that standards of education in the county was deteriorating at a worrying rate. Lenku says the county cannot achieve much in development initiatives without good education for the next generation.
We learn that comparative advantage does not help you. Comparative advantage is what helps you. We have as a county a number of areas where we have a comparative advantage. We have a big size of land, our proximity to Nairobi, and many things that make us have a comparative advantage.
Edna Lenku, who was present at the event, challenged all stakeholders in the education sector to join hands to improve education in public primary schools, pledging her commitment to assist where necessary.
Mimi nikiwa na hawa na niwaempower na niwapatie namba yangu, wakuwe na namba ya gavana, wakipata shida ile mwenzao amewaambia, direct line inafika kwangu na nitajua shule iko na shida.
She said over 7,000 children who have attained school-going age are still at home and called on parents to value education of their children for a brighter future.
Nataka kuhakikisha kwamba hii leadership ya county isiwe ni hawa tuliwabotia peke yao, hata hawa akili yao inafanya kazi.
Juliet Masinde for Lunchtime News.
Kenya Union of Domestic Hotels, Education Institutions, Hospitals and Allied Workers Secretary General Albert Njeru is now questioning the proposed amendments to the labor laws by the Ministry of Labor. Njeru claims the ministry wants to change the law without any consultations with stakeholders.
Tuk-tuks have proven an efficient means of transport for the residents of the coastal town of Mombasa, despite claims that they have been the greatest contributor of noise pollution in the tourist destination.
Apologize for that little mix-up, but we're sorting it in a bit. But for now, tuk-tuk operators in Mombasa County have raised concern over the decision by the county administration to ban importation of new vans. The county government of Mombasa suspended the registration of tuk-tuks in the county with effect from January this year, arguing that the move will ease heavy traffic congestion in the coastal town.
Tuk-tuks have proven an efficient means of transport for the residents of the coastal town of Mombasa, despite claims that they have been the greatest contributor of noise pollution in the tourist destination. The ban enacted by the Mombasa County government on the importation of new vans earlier this year attracting censure from border operators.
The manner in which the ban has been effected is wanting. The ban was informally communicated and put on us, the stakeholders, despite formal communication structures being in place.
Led by Tuk-Tuk Owners and Drivers Association Chair Obedi Muruli, the operators say the move will only act to stifle economic development in the region.
Si kama association kuna baadhi ya tuk-tuk tulikuwa tumezithamini, wale wanunuaji tulikuwa tumewadhamini. Tulikuwa tunataka at least zikitoka tuweze kuzishikilia mpaka tuhakikishe kwamba zile pesa zimerudi, baadaye tumpatie mwenyewe kabisa. Tumepata hasara kubwa sana ambayo tuwezi kukompea mabilioni ya pesa.
Muruli says they have invested heavily in the subsector and the ban has affected about 400 new tuk-tuks that are currently awaiting new registration. Muruli said the move could prove counterproductive by exacerbating the challenge of youth unemployment and further worsening crime rates in Mombasa.
Tunapoona hizi tuk-tuk zikitembea ni vijana wetu ambao saizi wangekuwa hawana kazi, wangekuwa wanakula madawa ya kulevya. Kwa hivyo hii sekta ya tuk-tuk imeweza kuajiri vijana wengi. Ukiangalia hata hali ya kutokuwa na usalama Mombasa ama utumizi wa madawa ya kulevya imeweza kushuka. Hii ni kwa sababu vijana ambao wanatoka tunawatrain, tunaweka katika sekta, wanaweza kujipatia unga wao katika hali iliyo bora.
And now the Kenya Medical Association has expressed opposition to the decision by the government to hire 110 doctors from Cuba. KMA Secretary General Lukoya Atwoli says the move was ill-advised, arguing that there are over 1,000 trained and qualified doctors who are currently unemployed.
Kenyan doctors under the Kenya Medical Association are in Mombasa County to attend the 46th annual scientific conference, with the agenda being finding financial prospects that will accelerate efforts to realize universal healthcare. The medics underscoring the need for the government to equip public hospitals to provide quality healthcare, especially among rural and marginalized communities.
KBC is not a private members club. The universality described in UHC means equity in access based on need for health services rather than ability to pay. In Kenya, those accessing healthcare services are those with the ability to pay, sadly. Healthcare purchasers and providers are focusing too much on cost reduction and missing the big picture, which is maximizing health gains. Cost reduction without improved health for the population is a zero-sum game. Initiatives aimed at increasing inefficiencies in cost without satisfying the health gain criteria must be re-examined.
And with the 10 vector control experts and an additional 100 doctors from Cuba set to jet into the country, the medics say the move could be counterproductive.
The Kenya Medical Association does not necessarily discriminate against a group of doctors from anywhere. But what Kenya Medical Association insists on is that any foreign medical practitioner who comes to Kenya, they must follow the laid down procedures for registration, and they must be qualified, and they must be coming in to fill a specific gap. So this is really what we are insisting on. This is what we will hold the government accountable for, that whoever comes into this country to work as a medical doctor, they must be coming in to fill a recognized gap that we agree exists. They must be coming in from a place where they have been properly trained. They must be experts in whatever they are coming to do. Not just bringing in a bunch of people because of their nationality or because of their ethnicity or because of their race.
KMA's Secretary General Lukoya Atwoli says consideration should have been given to trained and qualified Kenyan doctors before seeking the services of the Cuban doctors.
At the moment, we haven't had this discussion with the Ministry of Health, so we do not know specifically what specialties they are seeking to fill. There is no country in the world that has enough medical specialists. We need more doctors in Kenya. We have doctors in Kenya who, at the moment, they are not engaged by government. We are hopeful that going forward, the government will engage those doctors as well, and then analyze to say which gaps still exist in order for them to fill them with doctors from other places. So these are questions that we are going to engage the Ministry of Health very closely with in order to understand specifically what gaps they are seeking to fill, and if those gaps cannot be filled by locally available expertise.
The first batch of the Cuban doctors is expected in the country in July to help tackle the malaria pandemic. Juni Karisa from Mombasa County.
Let's go back to one of our top stories this afternoon. Baringo South Member of Parliament, Grace Kipchoim, is dead. Kipchoim, who was serving her second term as Member of Parliament, succumbed to colon cancer Friday at Nairobi Hospital. The legislator, who has been in the forefront of campaigning against banditry and uniting warring communities in Baringo County, has also been battling cancer for some time now.
Honorable Grace Kipchoim has been battling cancer for almost 5 years now. A disease she had fought with utmost faith in God, but also strength and energy. Honorable Grace was the member of Baringo South in last parliament and also in current parliament. And on behalf of my colleagues, the members of parliament, on behalf of the leadership of parliament, and on behalf of general leadership of this country, I'd like to convey my utmost condolences to his family, friends, constituents, and the entire republic, because we have lost a very, very, very dear leader to this country. Those who knew Honorable Grace Kipchoim, as many would testify, was a very humble, compassionate, hardworking, and committed leader. Honorable Kipchoim, despite the monster of cancer, was always thinking about what she can do to other people, not about herself, even in her situation and the situation she was in.
And may her soul rest in peace, and of course the condolences of the entire editorial team to the people of Baringo South and losing the Member of Parliament. But then again, on the same breath, it appears like it will be a sure bet that there will be a by-election in Wajir County. This after the appellate court upheld a judgment issued earlier nullifying the election of Mohammed Abdi as the governor for Wajir County. The petition was filed by Mohammed Abdullahi, the former governor, and now unless the governor moves to the Supreme Court to seek a reversal of the same decision or what you would call a review of a judgment, then it will be obvious that there will be a by-election in Wajir County. It's time for us to take a breather. Don't go too far, we have more news lined up for you.
Every 4 minutes is a chance for you to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, enter paybill number 295888, account name KBC, and amount from 10 shillings or more. Then select your 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. You can win up to 30 million shillings. Start playing now and win. Mega Dollar. Big winners every 4 minutes.
Nilikuwa nataka wabia DJ nicheze hiyo wimbo wa kusimama na magoti, halafu unawekelea kidogo. Adipo.
Inama kidogo, shika magoti. Mimi nimesimama kama ngongoti.
Nicheze hiyo wimbo ya Dominion.
Kwenda kabisa.
Hajasema kama kwani ni very bad.
Akasema prezo akanitupia mkono. Kunitupia mkono na mimi pia nikamrushia. Niliona nimeweka shop moja ya mkono hapo.
Nasikia mimi ndo nilimeza susu.
Nimeshika mashinani, kila choche kila mtaani.
Spirit yetu sote sisi watu ambao tunakula vizuri. Tunakulanga kumaliza.
Hapa ndo nyumbani, karibu katika Mahanja.
Keep it Mahanja, KBC.
Developing nations should put restrictions to rural to urban migration. We have Kapsabet boys going against Uasin Gishu High School.
If rural-urban migration was restricted, they could have strengthened the economy and saved the money which they had used to import these products.
We restrict people to move from rural areas to urban areas. We would have really restricted their talents.
Chariot on his shoulder.
On Game On this Saturday, Commonwealth Games end in Australia. What next for Team Kenya? And Green Army's pride as Gor Mahia advances to the CAF Confederations Cup group stages. This and much more, including riveting discussions, results and fixtures from European leagues on Game On this Saturday, starting at 2 p.m.
Welcome back. Government institutions, academicians, stakeholders and private sector in the innovation industry have been challenged to nurture innovators and facilitate commercialization of talents. Launching the first ever Kenyan National Innovation Agency strategic plan, the Higher Education Principal Secretary Professor Misheni Ntiba said innovations generate growth of new industries, providing solutions to the rate of unemployment in the country.
As nations with the largest economies continue to rigorously embrace innovations as key in transforming world economies, the government is employing a paradigm shift to focus on innovation as the new frontiers to create wealth and employment. Launching the first ever Kenya National Innovation Agency strategic plan, Higher Education Principal Secretary Professor Misheni Ntiba underscored the need to nurture innovations in different government institutions for development of this country.
Well-nurtured innovators are the movers of the national economy. We need to grow them to the next stage.
Ntimba encouraged commercialization of innovation as a panacea of economic development and achievement of the Big Four Jubilee agenda. Ntimba further channeled Kenya to ensure the strategic plan is implemented and enforced to ensure its fruits are realized. Linus Mwashigadi for Channel 1 News.
And now over 200,000 families in the coastal region are set to benefit from 2.4 billion shillings as the government moves to address the perennial water shortage in the region. The World Bank funded project involves sinking of 3 boreholes with the water pumped for 2.4 kilometers to to a reservoir, that is from the 2.4 kilometer to a reservoir in Kakuyuni that will then transfer water by gravity to Ngongoni and Kilifi towns.
Water shortage within the North Coast has been a common problem with the increasing population straining the old piping system. Located along River Sabaki, the water project is expected to serve coastal regions. Speaking during the tour of the project, which is 90% complete, Water and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Simon Telugu said the 3 new boreholes at Baricho have a capacity of pumping 40,000 cubic liters of water per hour.
This project costed us about 2.4 billion shillings under the support of World Bank. It's 90% complete. We are pumping from here 2.4 kilometers up to Kakuyuni, where we have a reservoir. And in this reservoir, we will now transfer water by gravity to Kongoni and to Kilifi town.
Kilifi North MP Owen Baya urged the national government to intervene in solving the burden of power bills, which has been a major concern in the coastal region.
Two, I think the long-term plan is to ensure that the water that we lose at the ocean gets tapped. We are looking at also having an interdepartmental, I don't know what you call it, meeting to see where water can go along with irrigation.
Mwache Dam and Muzima projects that will cater for the residents of Mombasa County are underway. Opicho Jail for Channel 1 Lunchtime News.
Let's look at what is happening further afield. Commonwealth leaders were met behind closed doors in London, United Kingdom, later to discuss whether the Prince of Wales should succeed his mother as head of the 53-nation body. On Thursday, the Queen endorsed Prince Charles as future leader of the Commonwealth at a meeting in Buckingham Palace.
Leaders from the former British colonies that formed the Commonwealth are scheduled to meet later in the day to elect a new head who will govern the body. The Commonwealth represents about 2.4 billion people, but critics say the organization is so disparate and struggles to know why it exists. Queen Elizabeth said that it was her sincere wish that Prince Charles takes over one day. However, the role is not hereditary and will not pass automatically to the Prince of Wales upon the Queen's death. The leaders are expected to approve the move when they meet at the Windsor Castle, but there has been no confirmation on whether there will be an announcement following the meeting. Reporting for Channel 1, I'm Helen Aura.
And President Uhuru Kenyatta is among the leaders attending the Commonwealth meeting of 53 former colonies of the British. And at the same time, that is Ramaphosa, the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, has cut short his tour in Britain for the Commonwealth Heads of Government Summit due to violent protests that have rocked northern parts of South Africa. The clashes have erupted in the Northwest Province, where the protesters are said to have confronted police officers and looted shops.
The situation in South Africa's Northwest Province is the worst since President Ramaphosa took office in February. The protest erupted on Wednesday, forcing Ramaphosa to cut short his trip to London as demonstrators demanded the resignation of Provincial Premier Supra Mahuma Pello, who is a member of Ramaphosa's governing African National Congress. The situation on the ground is tense as protesters have clashed with the police, barricading roads and looting shops. Ramaphosa has called for calm and ordered police to exercise restraint, and already 9 people have been arrested since Wednesday. South Africa's faltering economy has been a priority for Ramaphosa since he took over for former President Jacob Zuma. Reporting for Channel 1, I'm Helen Aura.